So as you remember, we have our Thanksgiving, well, fall decor here. It's a very simple autumn look here to the patio. And the stairs, little mini deck here. We're gonna change this up for Christmas. So this week it's all about Christmas decorating and making this look really magical. Our plan was to add more to our stairway here. We wanted to do columns here in the front and in the back and then connect it with a peaked roof. And it would be one that didn't have tile or slate or anything, because I don't think our town would allow that. We've been down this road before in the past. We've been here for 23 years, and I can say honestly, I don't think they will allow it. Although there's a new town inspector, I think he's even more strict than the first one. Understood, but it has to be 30 feet from the road, and I don't think we're enough for that requirement to do that type of closed-in area. But we'd love to do it because it would add architecture and character to our home, as it's a very plain box shape. And we're trying to add texture and architecture here and there the best that we can that is allowed. But we thought maybe if we added a trellis, arbor, or pergola of some kind over this, and it would be open and we would climb some vines on it, that might really help the look of it. It would look really pretty. There'd be quite a bit of maintenance and upkeep, but we thought it would be really, really nice. It won't shelter from the rain or snow, however, it would look really nice. But I'm not sure if we can get a permit for that. We're going to try, or how much the expense would be. So for now, we're just decorating, and that might be an added feature down the road. It may be in the spring, but for now, for this season, I think we're just going to decorate it the best that we can and make it really pretty. We are also doing the rest of the front. We have raked and used the blower to pick up all the leaves and debris so many times, at least 3 times, and it's still a crazy. If you could see all these leaves, it was way worse, but it's a little bit crazy still. And I think at this point we're going to wait till days before Thanksgiving before we do it again. But at least we got a start here. Everyone.
Hey.
Take a look at these two. We didn't plan that.
We didn't plan a match, but here we are. So
when you're married for a long time, you start to dress alike. Well,
it's all good.
It's adorable.
Right? It's something. It's something. Mine's, pretty close. Well, anyways.
Well, it's fall. It's mustard color,
it's fall.
You know? Anyway.
It may be fall, but we're decorating for Christmas.
Yes.
We like to decorate a little bit early to be a little bit ahead of the holiday.
Yes. Well, and you know, we usually do it around Thanksgiving weekend, and we're what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks.
From tomorrow.
Yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow. I'm so excited for all the yummy food. Yeah, so we wanted to do it early because we're kind of this year, as we're getting older, we realize we take a long time. So as you know, we've already done our Christmas village about a little over a week ago. And what we're trying to do is do a room at a time because we're a little slower now. So we like to deep clean every room and then decorate.
Right.
So I'm literally taking it a room at a time. It also allows me to see what we have for decor, if I need to add anything, if I want to maybe kind of edit a little bit, take away. It gives me a chance to, oh, this doesn't look right in this room, and I'll put it to the side, and then, oh, a week later, I'm going to be thrilled that it went in this room instead. So it gives me that chance to edit.
Yeah, and the other thing is it takes the pressure off. Like say Thanksgiving weekend, we can relax a little bit more instead of spending the whole weekend decorating the house. So
how it used to go was we usually spent the whole day, which we still do, a day before on that Wednesday, it's all baking, cooking. We get up super early and just cook and bake, which makes Thanksgiving much smoother. Whether we were going somewhere else and we would also do ours on a Friday, so we would still have our food, our leftovers. But if we can't, and I would still make food for that as well as here, because we had special diets and whatnot, craziness. But then even when we still did it at our home, it was so great because it took the pressure off. We could enjoy the holiday.
Yeah.
And then the day after, we'd be up for the Black Friday shopping when our kids were small. We still sometimes do it online, but we'd be up super late, and then, oh yeah, now we got to decorate. And if we also had our own supper some years back, we would have our own Thanksgiving on Friday because we went somewhere else, so we'd have our leftovers. It was just chaos. It was constant chaos. And honestly, now this gives us a chance to really enjoy each room. Also, I get the Christmas music going, and I get to enjoy decorating each and every room.
Yeah, when it's not overwhelming, it's just more of an enjoyable experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're starting with as you know, we did the village, and now we're starting for the rest of it. We're going to start the front yard.
Yes.
So the patio area, the window boxes, the door, and the little mini deck and stair area. And I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah.
It's hard work. It really is. For Paul especially. He does the lights and the garland and the wreaths, and then I come in and do the finishing touches and touch up and fluff. And but it is a lot of hard work. But we're noticing it's getting really, really cold. It's going to get colder. This is the time to do it. Yeah. I almost wish we did it days before because it's that cold.
Yeah, it is.
The nights are getting into the 20 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a little crazy. Yeah. But we're sitting here with our tea. We're getting ourselves psyched up because we're about to go out there and start decorating.
Yes. So
that's it this week.
Yeah. So come along for the ride, enjoy, and let's do it. Let's have fun.
Yeah. We hope you enjoy it. So someone was getting rid of this, and it was so neat, and I really wanted that part of our Christmas decor. However, there are some spots kind of dirty, and basically it started to wear away at the item. So what was under that originally. So I'm going to just touch these up with the gold paint and try to kind of bring it back to life again. If you remember, I used this paint last week, and I'm going to use it again, this gold paint. And I'm basically just going to put it on the spots for now and see if it needs it everywhere else. And I'm just going to touch it up. Bring it back to life a little bit. So obviously my only concern is that this holds up in the weather outside. We'll have to do another coat eventually, but it's, as you can see, it's really bringing it back to life a little bit. And it's going to get roughed up a little bit outside. I just hope it holds up, being that it's an interior paint. So much better. After a few coats of that gold craft paint, it really came alive. And it's so much better. There we go. It's going to look so cute with lights around it on the patio. So, as you saw, I didn't talk step by step because I was listening to my Christmas music. So, we don't have license for that music. So, anyway, so I didn't talk through it, but if you were watching, basically I tied jute twine to each pine cone. Just get in there somehow and just not double knot it. And then just kind of get good lengths going. And then when you hold it up, try to do different lengths so they're all hanging at different lengths. These were ones that my mother had collected on a trip long ago. She did ask permission, don't worry. She did ask permission, she could collect them. And then this was in our yard, so I just added to it. But it was just to get some, you want really big, you know, thick pine cones. So those are the best that I could find. We don't have a lot of big ones around here in New England. But anyway, that's what we did. And then tied it in double knots. And when you're doing that, it kind of does this little loop when you're making a double knot. And then I just kind of wound it around, just so we got a good thick middle here. And I tied a little knot at the top. I could just keep it a single thing, but I want to give it a little extra structure. So I'm keeping all the loops here, just so it has something to hang off of. But there you go. It's just really simple, a simple craft. I'm going to add a little ribbon to it, and it's going to be really lovely in our front patio. So I found this ribbon I had on hand. It's a gold. It's not wired, but it has like a nice gold trim here. Nice brighter gold trim. It's a little bit flashier on the trim. But I'm going to just going to put it at the top. It'll hide that knot, but also it'll be a nice place to hang it. Now for the little knot there, I'm just going to tie it once. Doesn't matter how straight it is, but for this I'm going to kind of straighten out the ribbon as I go, because again, it's not a wired ribbon. I'm not the best at bows, but I'm going to make a very basic bow here. Pull it to where I want it to go. Fluff it up a bit. I'm going to come down here with the ribbon. There is a technique where you could fold it, but this time I'm just going to simply make a little V, like an upside down V. I'm going to keep going until I have to make sure they're even on both sides. Just so it has a nice end there. And there's our finished decoration. Simple, rustic, pretty decor for our porch. So we're going to cut some sticks for another project for the front patio. And I'm looking around and trying to see where I want to cut some sticks. I'm going to kind of look up there and see if you can hear the crows crowing away. Good morning, crows. They are really around lately. So some of you have seen me do this before, if you've been here for a while. But I am going to spray these branches. These are birch branches from a birch tree. So they do turn white, but when they're young branches, they do stay brown. So I'm going to spray them white to give them a wintry look, and then maybe even sprinkle a little bit of glitter here and there to make it come alive with the lights. While still a bit damp, I'm going to sprinkle some glitter. You can omit the glitter part if you want. I just think it shimmers a little bit more when you have the glitter. So what am I going to do with these? So I have 3 tin cans. We just use these on occasion, canned beans or canned, you know, I don't usually do canned vegetables. This is usually canned beans or chickpeas or something. But I have these cans, and I'm going to show you how we're going to make these into bells. So I cleaned them out really well. There's some adhesive stuck a little bit on it that I couldn't quite get off, and I'm not going to be as particular about it. Try to get any, maybe if there's pieces of the label still stuck on, make sure you try to get that off. So we want them to be a little rustic, but we don't want them to be stuck with stuff. So I'm wearing gloves for protection from the spray paint, but also from the tin. I did cut myself today, so you have to be really careful when you're going around drying everything. I'm going to do a slight bit, shake it up a bit. I'm going to do a slight in the inside, and what I'm using is Rust-Oleum Universal Advanced Formula Hammered Paint and Primer in 1, and I'm using the dark bronze color. I'm going to see how they turn out, and I can play with the color if I don't like it. Just enough to give it a little coating. What I don't like is it's leaking a bit. I don't really like that too much. I'm not sure what that's all about. It's giving a good base, but I notice it's not adhering well. I probably could have sanded it a little bit, but I really thought it would take. It is dry, so I was hoping it would take, but it's not. So I'm going to give it some time and see when it dries out what to do. But I think this is going to be a little base, and then I'm going to go in with some gold coloring and try to fix it. I really don't like how it's leaking. I'm not sure, but this is, again, they're Universal Rust-Oleum. I did shake it pretty good, but even as you can see, it's still kind of coming off a little bit. One of the reasons you wear gloves. So yeah, it's not quite sticking to the can, but we're going to take some time and see what happens. So here they are. I'm not real super crazy about this paint. I probably wouldn't recommend this, but this bronze spray paint from Rust-Oleum. So what I'm going to do is use the craft gold paint that I have, and I'm going to try to, with that bronze, try to make a distressed, older, aged bell. Okay, so I brushed on this gold paint. It's still not where I want it to be. So I'm gonna be adding different colors, but I use this little sponge brush because I wanted to dab it on and brush it on because I want it to look like it's an old bell that's just rusting over time. So the bronze first layer was a good choice along with the gold over it, but it's not at the color I want it to be. I need to do other layers to it. So I'm gonna keep on it until I find the color I'm looking for. I'm probably going to add a little black to it, and also I don't know yet, some kind of aged bronzish gold to it. I'm going to figure it out, but we're going to do that. And then I have some jute twine that's I'm going to drill through it, and I'm going to make a loop knot, and we're going to hang those at various lengths on some jute twine, and we'll see how it all turns out. Okay, I cut a jute twine string for about 3 feet, and then I doubled it up, and I'm going to thread these both through from the top. Really have to feed it in there and dig it through here. Thanks, Paul.
Welcome.
With a little screwdriver to feed it through, Paul thought of. That was smart.
I do what I can.
And then you want to be very careful on the inside edge. I actually cut myself a little bit today on the hand. You want to be careful. So I'm going to just pull it out a good amount so I can have space to work with. I'm going to do a triple knot to make sure it's nice and tight. Just realized that's not where I want it. We want maybe about that. Say maybe we'll say maybe a 1.5 feet. So I'm going to actually tie it up further. Triple knot it so it stays nice and tight and snug. It doesn't matter what the knot looks like, it's inside. So we have a little mini eyelet, and we're gonna screw that on top there. We drilled holes on the sides trying to weave it through with the jute twine. But now it kind of hangs off to the side. So we want something from the top so it actually moves and makes that sound. This is not a necessary step, but we thought it would be kind of neat if the wind picked up. It would kind of make like a jingle bell sound. It's more like a cowbell. There we go. So now we're going to thread. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm going to thread these strings through. I'm going to kind of twist it around to see if I can get it through better. Yeah, there we go. And then when I get to that knot at the top, I'm going to let it rest. I'm going to tie a little knot. It doesn't really matter what's on the inside because no one's going to see the inside. So just going to crazy knot it so it stays. Okay. It does give a little clang. And I'm going to, now that I have it knotted, I'm going to cut this excess string off. That one's a little off to the side because we did it different. I'm going to leave it because I already trimmed the rope and I don't want it to come apart. So I'm going to leave it off to the side on that one. But this one I want to do like I just did the most recent one. The same length here. Okay. And again, go through that eyelet, twist it so it'll go through. Go up to where that knot is. A knot, a bigger knot. Another triple knot around it, just so it really stays in there. Now we have our 3 bells at various lengths. And I'm going to take all those loops, take all these loops together, and wind it through. And tie a good double knot. Nice and tight. I'm going to do a loop. It tries to bend, so you just have to.
Can I hold it open for you?
Yeah, you want to hold it open? Thanks, honey.
Sure.
It's good to have another person with you, if you can. And I'm going to go back where that knot is. And do another double knot, holding that loop the best you can. And like I did before, I'm going to do this wind around. Just cut a certain amount here, a couple feet maybe. I'm going to tie a double knot and then work my way around to give it a nice, pretty hold here. You absolutely can do this yourself, but it's nice to have a person helping you while you're weaving it around. Just holds it nice and tight. Thanks, dear.
You're welcome. How are you not cold out here? It's freezing.
I'm freezing. I'm trying not to sniffle my nose too much on camera, but I am. My eyes are watering up because it's the cold weather. I'm just crying because it's so beautiful.
Just don't catch cold, okay?
Yes. It was a lovely day today, but it's starting to get cooler now.
Doesn't take long to start cooling off. As soon as that sun goes down a little bit.
That's for sure. So I'm just going around to kind of hide that bit of string. And I'm going to weave it through. Give it a little knot. Bring it as close to that as possible. My husband's a very patient man.
Sometimes. I get impatient like the rest of us.
Cut that excess up. And there you go. And again, I'm going to put a little pretty bow on it. And there you go, your pretty bells. Not exactly the color I wanted, but I think all in all, with what we had, I think it works out great. It's a little black craft paint, a little gold craft paint, and a little bit of that bronzer, which I would not recommend. Honestly, we could have done without it, but it did give a good base, I guess.
So if you didn't buy that bronze paint, how much did you spend on this project?
Completely free, because I had everything on hand.
Gotta love free.
But this spray paint was $11, $10.97 at Lowe's, and it's just, yeah, there was no point to it. So let's get a ribbon around this and hang it up. Okay, so I didn't have more of that other ribbon, so I have this wired ribbon for this time, but I think they're close enough. They're both gold. I think it'll look great. So once again, where that knot is at the top, don't mind my paint hands. It kind of hides that knot up at the top. And you know, folks, this is great because you can use it year after year. It's going to last. So hopefully, if anything, hopefully the paint holds up because it's a craft paint. It's not an exterior paint that I used on these cans here. On the other ones, the other project, Pinecones, it should last year after year. This time I'm going to, because it's a nice wired ribbon, I'm going to show you if you fold it, like from wire to wire, if you're looking at it on the right side, wire to wire, we're going to go from the wire up at a, like a pointed V. You do that. When you pull it apart, it's going to make this V shape. So once again, I'm going to just actually want to make sure the length is about the same. Okay, so we want to go up here. I'm going to fold it in. Where that is on the right side, we go up like a slope, like a V. And there you go. You have your little fancier ends. And there you have it. Let's go hang it up. All right, I'm gonna have Paul hang this one because he's a little taller. We're gonna hook it on that nail. We have nails on each end to hang those garland and lights, so we have one side with bells and one side with pine cones.
Good?
Yeah, there we go. So we're gonna finish it off with some real greenery up at the top there and have it hang down a little bit because this is a faux garland and it needs a little sprucing up, and we want to hide some of the lights there and give it a little more fullness. It's just a little too thin for me. Okay, so we grabbed these 4-foot unlit PVC trees from the Dollar Tree for $5 each. They're 4 feet. We're going to put them in these planters. I'm going to leave the dirt where they are and we're going to clean it up a bit. So I'm just flipping this out. So the camera was off. We thought it was recording, so we're having issues with our camera today. So hopefully you can see this, but we have these slats, these wood slats that we had from an old bed that we saved. I'm telling you, we save everything. But these pieces of wood are great pieces of wood. Paul, what are the sizes you cut them in?
I cut these squares that, these pieces are all 10 inches long, and these long pieces here are 18 inches long.
So he clamped them together to make this 3D box. So we made one that's more square and we're making one that's rectangular. We're turning them into gift boxes. We're going to wrap chicken wire around it and string some Christmas lights through it, and we're going to have little Christmas present boxes. If you remember what I showed you earlier, there was a little kind of mesh chicken wire type little gift it was gold that I had to touch up the gold paint on, and that inspired maybe we should have 3 different sizes. So we're making the other 2, but the other one was free from the side of the road that someone was getting rid of. It just needed a touch-up of paint. So these are the ones that we're making. So we just made a square. I wrapped it in kind of like you're wrapping a present, a bow around it. It's going to be a little messy, but I wrapped it around the mesh, the chicken wire, and hopefully when it lights up it'll look like a nice gift with a bow. And this is the rectangular one. We wanted to have 3 different varying sizes. So sorry about that, folks. We're not going to take it apart, just put it back together, but I wanted you to know that somehow something happened with the camera, but we wanted you to see that we're making these boxes. So this is the tall one that Paul's finishing up soon, and we're about to finish screwing them together. I'm going to wrap some chicken wire around it and we'll light them up and show you at the end. So there's the square one. We're about to show you the rectangular one and the chicken wire. So this is what I have left of the chicken wire. I'm hoping it just at least goes around and a little on the top. We're leaving the bottom empty because I need to bring the lights through. So I tried the lights in different ways, but I found that even though it's a little messier, I'm putting them on top because when you go inside, it seems to bunch up and make a big mess. So we're going to try it again from the outside. We're getting a little short of the mesh, so hopefully it doesn't look so bad. We're going to wrap it around like you do a present. First one was very messy, but we're going to try to make this one better. Paul's around this time, so maybe he can help me zip tie. It makes such a big difference when someone can help you. And there they are finished. Not sure you can see the whole effect, and hopefully it's not too messy, but there it is. Just about finished. We still need a wreath for the middle of the door, but we're just about finished. You can't see, unfortunately, the other window boxes, but I did show you earlier, so hopefully you get an idea of what's going on. We haven't finished the lights in front of the house, and we haven't finished the wreath yet. This is where we're at this point. If you can hear me over the traffic. So we just had some white craft paint. I wanted them to make to be very modern, and I wanted to keep that it's plastic, but I wanted it to seem like glass. And basically I dripped some paint in there and the gold or silver glitter in here. Some I did different designs. You just basically squirt it in and swirl it around, and I put some glitter so it would be reflective in with the lights. So basically what I'm going to do is take these, I'm just showing you all, I'm not going to actually hang it like this, but all of these I'm going to place in the window boxes so the lights glimmer on them. Some of them are still need to be moved around a bit. But basically, hopefully it makes it glisten a little bit in the light. And I replaced the simple silver string that they had hanging from it, and I did a little green satin ribbon just to class it up a little bit. These were each $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. And the craft paint was also from Dollar Tree, $1.25, and the glitter was also from there, $1.25 in a 4-pack, I believe. And there you go. And the green satin ribbon I actually got from Walmart a couple years ago. Wasn't very expensive. I can't remember how much it was, but it was under, I don't know, maybe a few dollars for a spool of it, a small spool of maybe a few feet. Anyway, so there we have it. So we have a wreath frame from the Dollar Tree for $1.25, and I bought 3 of these garlands for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to wrap them around as our base. So I'm just going to it's like a wire inside, so you can wrap it around in the beginning and then just kind of work your way around. It should hold because it's wire based. Thinking like halfway through I might want to weave it through just so it holds a little better. Just in a couple spots weave it through so it just holds its shape. And because it's wire, I shouldn't have to wire this in. It's just a matter of shaping it to the wire frame. Except every now and then I will weave it through just to get like a stronger hold in some spots. And then in the second row, there shouldn't be any weaving needed. You should just be able to hold it down. It's just to give you a good base, because we're going to weave in, or put in, I should say, some real greenery. This just helps it get a little fuller and gives you a base. Now I'm saying we don't have to hold it down with any wire because it's wired, but I think I'm going to correct that statement because I do believe we might have to. I'm kind of stuffing it down. The weaving wasn't really helping too much, so I'm just going to tuck that in and tie that to one of the frames. I'm going to take a second one, kind of fill in the gaps. I'm just trying to build a little fullness here, so when I come in with the real green, it'll be nice and full, and it will hold up a lot longer. So I will say, but because it's wired, every now and then you can kind of tie it around itself on the frame. And basically I just went around and around and around and around, just kind of giving you a base, a green base. And then we're going to come in with real green from the woods near our home. And we're going to tuck in maybe some decor and some ribbon. There's your base. Paula's hanging these for me this morning as I'm in the middle of cooking breakfast and I don't have my makeup on yet. Nobody wants to see that.
You don't have your shoes on either.
I don't have my shoes on and it's very cold. But it's actually, the sun is very warm. But Paula's helping me finish these window boxes by placing them for me. He's got his makeup on.
I do.
Just kidding. Hold on. We're switching the camera. The squirrels are going crazy today.
Getting ready for the long visit.
That is for sure. We don't want those to blow over, so make sure those are nice and tight.
Okay, so I'm going to build a little wood rack for our fire pit in the front on the front patio. These are scrap wood I've got here. And I'm going to cut them into 18-inch lengths. Now that I start assembling this, I realize it's bigger than I wanted it to be. So I'm going to cut down some of these 14 inches. So we're going to have 4 at 18 and 4 at 14. Love these little corner clamps. They'll hold everything together while I'm trying to screw them up. Next, we're cutting 4 of these at 24 inches. I always like to do pilot holes when I'm driving screws near the end of a board. Prevent splitting.
So we had an issue. We had tons of cords, and that happens every year, but this year in particular, for some reason, it was just really bad. So what we decided is we had this black planter tub that we had picked up from a tag sale for, literally they were giving it away, so for free. And then this started to get rusty, but this was from the Dollar Tree, this little side table. And I wanted to place the cords in the bucket and then put the table on top, because I can't put any type of greenery or fabric on top of the plug. So this acted like, this was large enough, so this acted like a little bit of a buffer. And I had this red plaid blanket, an old blanket. So I'm going to place it on top. And then I had another planter, which I just put some cut greens from our yard, from our garden and in the woods. And then we just have a resolution to the problem. So the cords are inside here, and we have the greens on top, so it acts like a buffer, and now it's not just an ugly tub just sitting there. So it adds like a little bit, and it adds a little height and character to this spot here.